satellite internet up to 100 Mbps with unlimited data usage directly from space. Find out more on Connect.com. Connect fixed satellite internet up to 100 Mbps with unlimited data usage directly from space. Find out more on Connect.com.
Good morning and welcome to Business Angle on DRTV, where we'll update you with happenings in the business world as we look at prices, products, services, and the economy, and also bring you conversations around it. Let's take our sponsor's message.
Connect fixed satellite internet up to 100 Mbps with unlimited data usage directly from space. Find out more on Connect.com.
Welcome to Business News. The International Monetary Fund has said that Nigerians should brace up for high food prices, a risk in 2023 due to recent float in high fertilizer prices. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, food inflation hit 23.72% on a year-on-year basis in October 2022, with inflation on certain food items rising to between 50 to 100%. Despite that, the IMF has predicted that since recent flood has affected agricultural productivity, saying that food prices would worsen in 2023. It added that the volatility in the value of the naira, the federal government's continued dependency on the Central Bank of Nigeria for financing its budget deficit, and climate change were also risk factors. And for the federal government reacting to IMF has said Nigerians should not be afraid of any form of food crisis. The federal government said on Monday as it's kicked against the projections of the International Monetary Fund. He stated that several measures has been put in place to foster the scarcity of food in Nigeria, stressing that there was no need for panic among citizens across the country. Nigerian Exchange Limited has joined 6 others in the African Exchange Linkage Project to begin cross-border trading to increase the African capital market and free movement of investment in the region through the AELP Link platform. The AELP exchanges are the Casablanca Stock Exchange, the Egyptian Exchange, the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, the Nairobi Security Exchange, the Nigerian Exchange, the Stock Exchange of Mauritius, and Bourse Regional Mobiles. The President African Securities Exchange Association, Dr. Edo Emionova, said the go live today of the AELP link is a great milestone towards achieving ASEA's mission to engage African capital market ecosystem in order to foster capital mobilization, promote sustainability, and enhance financial inclusion for the benefit of Africans' economic development. And that's it on Business News. Over to our sponsor's message.
Connect fixed satellite internet up to 100 Mbps with unlimited data usage directly from space. Find out more on Connect.com. Connect fixed satellite internet up to 100 Mbps with unlimited data usage directly from space. Find out more on connect.com.
Come to our interview segment where we'll be looking at food security in Nigeria. Today, Nigerians farmers as well as its rapidly growing population face a food insecure future after thousands of hectares of farmlands were devastated by floods in area of unexpected rainfall in recent weeks. The development has elicited the fear that the extent of the damage to farmland and crops may reduce access to food and diminish the quality of food across the nation, intensifying food insecurity, hunger, and entrenched poverty. What can be done to actually address this? Joining us this morning to look at this is Farmer Boy Israel Ogisi, founder Mogisi Farms and Agro Consult. Good morning and thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Ma. Good morning, Delta.
Okay, now how would you rate the damage that has been done to the farmlands by the heavy rains and the flood?
Yeah, what I would say, this is a major disaster and a setback for us as a nation and a people, because long before now we were having shortage of food. Then we now tend to have this natural flooding, so it's going to pose a whole lot of danger and food shortage in the first and second quarter of 2023.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, IMF actually predicted that there's definitely going to be food insecurity come 2023, that there's going to be high prices of food commodities and all of that. But the federal government, just what we saw on the news right now, the federal government said we should not that we should not expect that. How do you actually see that?
Yeah, if I may say, or if I may be correct, that's what they're trying to do is damage control, not to cause panic to the public and the masses, because prior before now we could barely feed ourselves as a nation, due to the fact of insecurity, banditry and terrorism in some parts of the northern part of Nigeria. Then also down to the south, majority of us believe is oil and not agriculture. So you understand that the bulk agricultural produce is coming from the up north, and about 40 to 60% of those places the food are coming in from will be ravaged by the recent flooding. So it's going to pose a whole lot of danger for us as a people in the first and the second quarter of 2023.
Okay, this is actually not the first time we're experiencing flooding in Nigeria, and before this one actually came, we were actually warned. So do you think it would have been possible for farmers to have harvested their crops before the flood actually destroyed them?
Yes, it would have been averted, but it's a sad situation to know that as a country and as a people, we don't have silos. We don't have storage facilities.
Okay.
Because every harvest season, there's always wastage of farm produce. Like for the orange season, farmers will take their produce to the market and they will sell what the buyers wanted to buy. The remaining produce is always trash as waste. So if there are some factories that can recycle these products from raw material to the finished goods, or there's also a silo or a storage facility, this will help to reduce food scarcity.
Okay, now looking at the livestock farmers, how is it like for them currently? Because we just saw recently the massive sales of poultry birds in the state.
Yes, that also is effect of the flooding, because when the flood came in, as the flood was going, there's the outbreak of bird flu, which was badly hit by mostly Delta, and that was when most poultry farmers started selling their birds in order for them not to have more mortality and shortage on their parts. They had to sell off to the public so that they will have one or two just to salvage the situation on the ground. So that is going to bring a whole lot of danger for us during the festive season, because it's going to cost it's going to bring high cost of chicken in the markets, and because it's going to cause scarcity as well. So coupled with the fact that there's an increment in feed price and drugs and vaccine as well.
Okay, we'll be going on a break, and when we come, we'll get to know what can actually be done to help those farmers that actually suffered from this loss recently. Okay, over to our sponsor's message.
Fixed satellite internet up to 100 Mbps with unlimited data usage directly from space. Find out more on connect.com. Connect fixed satellite internet up to 100 Mbps with unlimited data usage directly from space. Find out more on connect.com.
Nigeria, and our guest is still with us in the studio, Farmer Boy Israel Ogisi. Okay, now what do you think can actually be done to help the farmers that were affected by the flood?
Yeah, for that, the government have to come in and play a very strong role in assisting the farmers that actually lost during the flood season by giving them grants, access to finance, them farm inputs, so that they can go back to their farm and reinvest and start production.
Okay, now do you think that the damaged farmlands would further increase food prices at a time when inflation rate is already at a record high?
Yes, it will.
It will definitely increase food prices.
Because, like I said earlier, long before now, we're already having scarcity. Okay. Then the flood came in.
Okay, now what are farmers and government and even all stakeholders doing to secure food in Nigeria? Because right now it's already a challenge. So
yeah, the major solution now is to invest massively in agriculture. When you're investing massively in agriculture, it tends to do it gets involved with finance, technology, transportation, the technical know-how and inputs. So if you are investing in agriculture, you need to get more people on board so that we have sufficient food for everybody in the country.
Okay, so right now, does it have to be just the government doing all of that, or maybe other persons can actually get involved?
Yeah, the government will play their own part by giving favorable policy to investors to come in and invest from, because it's from the government angle to down to the private sector and NGOs as well. It's a collective agenda. The bottom line is just to fight food security.
Okay, you just made mention of investors. Do we still need more investors in the agricultural sector?
Yes, we need more investors in the agricultural sector, because I would say agriculture is the mother of our profession. Okay. Because aside the food security, our clothing, our shoes is being gotten from the farmland, from cotton. That's where we get our clothes, our belts, our shoes are being gotten from the animal, the livestock. So when we're talking about real investors, people that have bulk money to invest, okay, let me take this as a business, because farming is a business as well. So when you invest in production, in primary production, you're also trying to create job for people out there. It tends to do from the primary production to the processing to the finish to the end product. So it's a whole lot of value chain.
Okay.
across the borderline.
So farming doesn't have to be you actually going directly to the farm alone. There are other processes involved.
Yes, the other processes,
Okay.
like from production, which happens to be the primary aspects of farming.
Okay.
Then we have the logistics department, those that convey the goods from the farm to the market. Then we also have the marketers, those that buy the produce from the farmers and sell to the end users. Then we have advocacy. What I'm doing here today, I'm actually advocating for the farmer and for the government to come in. This is one aspect. Then we have the consultancy department also. We actually consult for people that wants to set up farms. We give them the best advice and the services. Then we also have we have value addition. Those turning the raw material, like for let me use for example the orange juice company. They actually add value to it in terms of making it from just ordinary orange to orange juice.
Okay.
So this whole value chain involves serious investment and also creating jobs.
Okay, some persons might not really want to go to the farm or into the farm. I don't want to get to the farm if I'm to get involved in farming. So with all of these, everyone can actually get into the agricultural sector and make it productive for us to actually have food security in the country. All right, thank you so much, Farmer Board Israel Ogese, the founder, Mugisi Farms and Agro Consult. Thank you so much for being a part of the conversation this morning.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
Okay, this is wrapping up this business angle for today. Urging you to join us same time next week for another edition of the program. I'm Mercy Were.
Connect fixed satellite internet up to 100 Mbps with unlimited data usage directly from space. Find out more on connect.com.